Peace and love. How y'all doing? Flowing and growing with Sister Nzinga here. Well, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. My day has been full. That's why I'm getting to you kind of late, but I'll be trying to make sure that I get to you. So first of all, I want to thank all my subscribers, those people that push the notification buzzer, make sure they get it every time I post it. And then those that are giving comments, y'all continue to let me know where you're from. Where are you from? Where are you viewing the videos from? And so let's just get right to it, y'all. So I mean, but what's going on? I need y'all to talk back to me a little bit more. Talk back to me to see kind of what's going on. Everybody's in different places in the world, and having different experiences. But we still on the thing thinking they illegal yet, because now is really the time to think, y'all. The time is now. The time is now. And so, are you really thinking about the reality that's going on around you? Do you really think that things are quote unquote as normal as whatever people want to call normal? But are you seeing what's going on around you? I'm sure it's someplace near you, if not actually where you are. There's chaos. There's so much chaos in the world, and this world is it's just kind of we're unknown, where things are unknown, because you really don't know what's going to happen next, because most of the things that that's going on, they're not telling you. They just give you certain things to kind of keep your attention, so you're trying to figure out what's going on with this thing there, and here around the corner or on the other side, they're really doing something behind your back. But you should be able to observe yourself enough to be able to kind of see what's going on. Some people being laid off. They're putting out this what do you call this, the putting the troops, in different areas, in different states, grabbing up people, wrongly, children, separating children from their families, um, protests is going all over the world. Now that's one thing. The protest is going all over the world, and what they're protesting about is the U.S. They fed up too. People all over the world are fed up with what's going on in the world, and people in the U.S. have been really fortunate, because in a lot of other countries, they're what do you call it, war torn, where buildings are knocked down. People are just missiles are blowing up. Their people are ravishing for food. Things. So America hasn't had that issue yet, and I'm saying yet because I'm telling you, it may get to a point where that's where it may be. So that's why I said we need to be ready. Don't get ready, be ready. There's a sign of the times that's going on enough right now for you to be able to start really preparing yourself, and stop thinking that, oh, things is going to be, you know, the way they are. But because of the unknown, and because of all the lies that's going on, you just really don't know. And so you have to prepare yourself. You really have to start saving some water, stocking up on your beans, or whatever, some tuna fish or some things that you need. Stop thinking about things that's going to be able to provide some light for you should the lights go out. Buying the basic things that you need: some toilet paper, some paper towels, some lotion, some soap. Um, these are things that may happen, and it's like, oh no, that would never happen in America. But I'm telling you, I pray it don't. But because we're in this uncertain times, we really don't know. So it's best to be able to know, because we are really things are just kind of upside down. Where in order for you to eat healthy food, you have to pay more, and that's crazy as hell. Because really, we shouldn't have to pay so much for food, because the food was growing all over the place, and these people kind of say no, don't be doing all that, cutting down all the trees and everything, and making concrete jungles. And now some of the things that was given to us, as far as our survival, things to eat and things like that. Everything's been taken from now, and now the basic things that you need in your life, you got to be paying somebody for. You shouldn't have to pay anybody to live on a free land. So, but that's really a whole other conversation. But I'm just talking about being prepared. Things are kind of upside down. Now, people, the things that people would consider uh, uh, nice, and being, for us being kind to other people, people are screwing over people. I don't even want to say it out my mouth, but our young brothers are being, you know, from trees. What the hell is this stuff? What we going back to for? There's here. Like we can use Diddy for instance. Diddy got, I think Diddy got a bunch of about 20 something years, or you got several years. But there was a white man in another town, And you guys look up this stuff because I remember the details, not the fine details, but just the actions. So I know, but I do know I read somewhere that they were comparing that in this day and time it's just straight out obvious. There's a white man. I know who D.L. Hughley had made the comment. Maybe you can look up D.L. Hughley's comment on Diddy, and it was a white man who did something just as bad as I think he raped some. Oh, as a matter of fact, he was either teacher or preacher or something like that, and he raped a 14-year-old girl. He'd been raping her from she was 12 to 17 years old, and the man only got like a couple of years and some type of financial fine. So even to this day, they continue to do us one way, continue them to do another way, and we got to stop being in the mode of thinking that the government's going to do things to help us. We have to really start doing for self and start preparing yourself for some serious shit that's about to go down. We don't know. Even you're seeing more sightings of UFOs. They're saying UFOs, but I think they've been around a long time, and it's not something they just have not been telling us. But more and more of them are being are surfacing, and people are actually just seeing them, and they talk about. You never see it on the news. The only place that you see is on TikTok or YouTube or something like that. The news ain't reporting that these people are seeing all these sightings, but they're happening. They're happening, and there's so much that is happening, but they're not telling you because they have selective reporting. They only want to show the things that will dictate and have something to do with their narrative. So we have to really start thinking for ourselves about how we have to do to prepare ourselves. This is the time for us to start thinking about community. This is the time for you to start, start coming and living with family, buying a bigger home. Buying some land would be the best thing. Buying some land and family living together, raising some animals and raising some, growing some food. This is the times that we're in right now. And if you don't want to, because everything for everybody. If you don't want to go and get a farm and do all the work, because one thing when you're on the farm, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. The stuff will produce for you, will give you life, will give you food, everything. But you got to work it because nature is so in tune. Everything is just everything. Human beings are the only ones who's out of order, but nature is so in tune, and everything is there. The animals, the ants, the way the trees grow, the timing goes with the moon, all that kind of stuff. It's all in sync. The human beings, so-called human beings in this flesh suit, we are out of order and out of line. So, what we have to do is start getting in sync with nature, and to be able to start being in community and having a system as far as things just working right after the other. Click, 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 click. This is the time for the families to come together and live together, share the expenses, and be okay with sharing, your house with another family member, and taking that money, splitting that money in half, and using that money to do other things, to build, to start a business, to support, it's just so much, y'all, that's going on, and we've got to be more mindful of being able to help one another and be able to work in community with one another. We grew up on a little small street, and I know we used to have one lady that used to cook really well. She made all the birthday cakes and did all the kind of stuff. We had another parent. These are the parents, but the other parent used to do the hair, so everybody used to go to this certain parent, to get the hair done. This one here was, we used to play games with us, Mr. God, I remember the names, Mr. Buck, and used to do fun games and stuff for the children, and different parents had different gifts, and they would share it with the children in the community on our block. Remember that movie called Brewster Street? We had a block that was like that. We were so close. All the families grew up together, and all the families supported one another. We was in and out of each other's houses like it was nothing. Now, they you deal with people, you don't even know your neighbors. Let alone at least they do speak, for the most part. But I ain't certain neighbors. Sometimes you don't see them that often. I don't even know their name, but I do wave if I see them. But we're not in each other's houses and stuff. I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong, but when we lived in the community, it was just a beautiful thing. It's just when I was as a child. We used to go in and and share with other parents and that kind of thing. So I'm just telling you, the time is now. You see how things are out of whack, and they think they're trying to give you foods that don't got no seeds. What the hell is that? That's so unnatural. Because they don't want you to take them seeds and grow them. That's that crazy or what? They don't want the possibility of you taking those seeds and growing your own food. That's what you gotta do. When you're eating some watermelon, you're eating some tomatoes. Eat an orange. Sour sap. papaya. You take the seeds and you plant the seeds and you grow some more. That's what we need to be doing. But no, they want us to come to the store. They got to have their hand in everything, everything, everything. So what we have to do is start showing them. I know that, it's like, you make your money, you just feel like I can do what I want to do with my money, but you have to see the sign of the times of, these people are not doing what's best for us. So what you got to do is stop giving them your money, honey. Stop giving them your money. So just wake up and see that things are twisted, in order for you to be able to do something for yourself. They try to make sure that make look like the things are not right. They're messing with our children in the schools. I mean, whoo. But these crazy people, they still shooting. They still shooting up the schools and stuff like that. And then, oh my gosh, do you know how many white boys have shot up schools and went into schools and went into churches and all this kind of stuff? Well, they took this 11-year-old boy. The 11-year-old boy, the only thing he did was made a threat. He just made a threat, and I got all the final details. They don't, they're not telling you what's happening. But what they did show is them locking up this little boy, and they locked this little boy. They had him, they had his legs tied up. He was only 11 years old, and the story was saying that he made a threat about doing something at his school, and they had him in shackles on his ankle. They had him around with this wide belt here thing, something up on his chest, and this wide belt here with his hands, tied up and everything. I'm like, why did they have to sit there and restrain that little boy like that? It's because he said he was going to do something. And look at how all the little white boys have been doing shooting around here at schools and everything. They're not getting them like that. I mean, so you seeing that that things is not right. They ain't treating one group of people the way they're treating everybody else. So if you don't know who the hell that group of people is right now, then you may be part of the problem. But y'all, just wake up. That's the word everybody, just wake up. But just I think it's really not waking up. It's thinking. You have to be thinking for yourself. You have to be self-sufficient on some things. And you have to just stop falling for the okie doke. Stop letting someone tell you what to do. And most people are not going to admit the fact that I used to be there. I used to be. So I'm not trying to say that one person is better than the other, and I'm not judging anything. But if you live according to the system, then you are really, they have control of your mind, because you think that what you're doing, because you think, well, because they said the new color is red, you just happen to like red. But that ain't how it's working. Whatever they say, we go by, we say, we repeat, we share. Man. So y'all, I'm just going to stop here and just say, I'm just going to keep trying to say, think it ain't illegal yet. And, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. You have to stop doing the shit that everybody else does. Be the eyeball out. Be the one who's going to stand up and do something different. Be the ones who's going to say, oh, hell no, not for me. Be the ones who's going to say, huh? You must be joking. Be the one who's going to speak up. Be the one who's not going to just sit and watch it. When you see something crazy going on, you just sit and, take the video. Be the one who's going to step in and do some action. Be the one who's going to organize some stuff around your community. Be that one. Be what the Gandhi say. Be the something that you would be the what's the word that he used? But it's pretty much saying, be what you would like to see in the community. Be that one. You be that one. Okay. So, y'all, there's so much going on. But I'm just saying, think, y'all, it ain't illegal yet. And work on creating a narrative of your own and stop falling for the okie doke. Stop trusting these people. It's a shame to say that we just can't just be all, kumbaya. But shit, hell no, we can't. You have to know, because there's people in place, and even like I'm gonna say it to Greg go. I saw something on the internet when they were showing where they had went into, I think, Chicago, and so the people are like, saying, what are you guys doing here? This stuff is so inhumane. But one thing I will say, there was a brother, they showed him a picture. He was holding this little baby, so I guess this little child, but maybe not a baby, but a little small little boy, maybe 3 to 5 years old. So I guess he must have been torn from his parent. They must have took his parent. So the brother was like, showing some compassion for the child. But I did hear that this one, WHITE boy was making comments like, y'all, it's about time that y'all get put into some cages, and he didn't give a damn about what's going on. He's all for locking up these people. Some of these people are doing this because I guess this is their job, being in in the army or being in the National Guards, whatever they're doing. So it's a job, but this it's just sickening. But I do know that some of them are just refusing to do certain things, and thank God some of the states are refusing to have this. I think what state was they was the local police and everything was fighting against the National Guard, telling them, get the hell up out of here. You're not coming. You're not coming in our state. You're not coming in our state. This is what we have to do. We have to be opposed to what's going on because we know what's going on ain't right. Whew, Lord. So peace and love, y'all. God loves you, so do I.